Welcome to JMR Talks. Today we will discuss about you are becoming old at the age of 80. Now, many of us are, scared of, premature aging. Now, how the premature what we call aging takes place? There are some, controllable factors, there are preventable factors, and we prematurely age, it shows up, on our skin as such. In fact, generally it is said that the skin changes happen as we age. But in some of the cases, you must have noticed that, the skin changes, they appear early. It could be either due to the environmental factors or the what we call lifestyle. In fact, the major cause for premature aging, was said that exposure to what we call light. It's called, what we call photo aging, and 90% of the visible changes in us, happen what we call because of this exposure to light. And then what we call high energy visible infrared light, okay, caused because of either the sun or electrical devices, such as smartphones, they also what we call, impact what we call premature aging. So while exposure to light is what we call the main cause, the other cause, of premature aging is the other environmental or lifestyle factors, such as what I call smoking, unhealthy diet, consuming alcohol without any limit, poor sleep, and what I call stressful life, etc. But in the midst of people's apprehensions, concern about premature what I call aging, there is a good news. And what is the good news? The good news that old age has been postponed. You're not considered old when you cross what I call 50. In fact, you become old only at the age of what I call 80. That means you continue to be biologically and physiologically active till 80. Now, who shared what I call this good news, or who broke this what I call good news? It was none other than Professor Ian Robertson, a professor of what I call neuroscience at what I call Dublin's Trinity College Institute of what I call neurosciences. So he has been what I call doing research on effects of aging on what I call brain. Normally we keep talking about what I call heart stroke, but what about brain stroke or brain becoming ineffective and all that. So when he initially began the research, he found that this the victims are normally at an average age of what I call 72. But as he continued his research, by 1999 he found that the average age of the what I call victims is what I call 82. So that means they were able to what I call live biologically and psychologically what I call active till 80. In fact, he categorizes what I call old people into two categories: young old and old old. 50 to 80 he calls what's called young old, and above 80 are what I call old. And this gap of span of what I call 30 years between 15 to what I call 80, longer than your adolescence, very 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 important what I call fruitful life. But what is that what I call you need to do for biologically and psychologically being what I call active. He says human brain was malleable at all ages, and this is shaped by experience, learning, and what I call the way what I call we think. He was actually basically trying to find out what did the what I call people do after what I call touching 50, because he felt that this had a what I call a profound impact on how they could preserve their what I call faculties. In other words, if the brain is not working as well as it used to be, say at the age of 850 or what I call before 50, so he suggested what I call certain steps to remain biologically and physiologically what I call active. Number one, aerobic what I call fitness. It is said that a sound mind in a what I call sound body. So are we trying to what I call keep ourselves what I call fit? In one of our video we discussed about retired Air Marshal Ayer, who even at the age of 92 runs about 8 kilometers and all that. He says the God has given two legs to what I call to move along and all that. The second, mental stimulation. Robertson says mental stimulation was vital, like playing crosswords, what I call puzzle, some kind of that The more the work what you give to the brain, the more it becomes what active and what agile. The third one is what new learning. In fact, I keep telling what my students that obsolete technology is dangerous, but obsolete human resources is what disastrous. Be enthusiastic, to learn something new. Maybe, there's no age is no bar. We have seen, Katyani Amma at the age of 96, passing out fourth standard in Kerala literacy mission as such. So maybe music, a new language, a new way of doing and all that. Okay. Next one is stress. When we are leading a stressful life, it impacts human memory. So the best thing is how to avoid the stress or how to manage the stress. There is number of ways. You have meditation, you have yoga, etc., and all that. And the next one is a rich social life. All of us are aware about the Harvard's 75-year-old study, wherein they found that people who have quality relationships were found to be healthy and active. A rich social life, having people to interact, to share, and all that. The next one is healthy eating. Professor Robertson says that if you eat fruits, fruits of the season, and purely vegetarian, and now and then fish, that will help you to remain healthy and live longer. And last but not the least, finally think young. Many among us, we see, especially the senior citizens, oh, I have become too old, I can't do this, I should not do that, and all that. Age is no bar. As long as you are passionate, you are perseverance, and you enjoy what you do. In fact, somebody asked Gaur Gopal Das, sir, most of the time, we don't enjoy what we do. Okay, so how to lead a happy life, a successful life? And Gaur Gopal Das nicely replied. He said, love what you do and do what you love. In most of the cases, what we do in our official life, may not be make us happy. But we got to do because we have certain responsibilities like paying EMIs, mortgages, taking care of our children's studies, etc. But at the same time, find something by doing which you feel happy. That means you're trying to balance loving what you do and doing what you love and all that. So old age starts at 80 as brains keeps getting younger and younger. So this 30 years of life, this gaining, once we touch 50, is gaining this 30 years of life, which is longer than adolescence. It is in our hands. So let's pay heed to the some of these steps suggested by Professor Robertson and try to be young old. Thank you.